can stop you from being deceived. If you try to find out what's up my sleeve, you can figure out what a bag of means. If you try, nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived.
It got to be something. What's going on, bro? How you living?
What's up, Cutter?
Listen, bro. That was the worst name I could have told, bro. But you know how it is when you first start. Now it's like I just need a name that say I cut hair.
Right.
Trey Face, what's the word? What's the word?
What's good?
Smarty always been a barbershop name. It's not that bad. It was bad. What'd he say? West Side of Dyersburg. It's a Dyersburg thing. It's a Dyersburg. Even where you from is hard to pronunciate, bro. What is it, Dyersburg or Dodgeburg? Because I've been hearing Dyersburg, and if you're from the South, you say Dyersburg or something like it. Like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro. Barber Baby LLC, simplified. That's a good name.
What's good?
It's real easy, real easy.
Yes, sir.
Sweet P, you guys going to be in Orlando?
What's up, Wavy Kid?
I don't know about Orlando. Wavy Kid, what's going on? Sweet P, Trey Face, STB so wavy. You got to be here off that wavy thing. Potential. Listen, STB so wavy. Are you brushing, bro? Because you got wavy in your name, but are you brushing, bro?
You're right.
We need to know if you brushing.
Right. Are you 360?
Are you brushing, bro? Because don't just be throwing wavy in your Instagram name and you're not brushing your hair, bro. Because it's not the move. It's not the move.
Peyton, I'm going to ask Ash, send me your address. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Yeah.
You good.
Barber.
What do you say, my granddaddy was a barber? Hence, I'm a barber baby. I like it. I deal with it. Barber Pink. Barbie Pink Barber.
And let me. Okay. And hey, let me let little Kev know. Look, Kev, I got hair, brother.
Hey, I was looking back at some of that footage and he showed this. So he said, man, do you have hair under there? Right. Every time I've ever seen you got a hat on. Is there hair underneath?
Yeah, I got hair, dog. Yeah.
Without the brush. Ooh, he talking good, Cat. I like, hey, salute to you, my guy. I'm wavy without the brush. No, don't ask me no stupid questions on the internet. I like that. That's the kind of energy I like. I like that kind of energy. But I'm definitely going to see. Matter of fact, I'm finna follow you now so I can go to your profile. If it's not no wave, nothing on there, I'm making a whole reel about it, bro.
So he better have the waves, huh?
Where he at? Where is he at? So what's going on, bro? How your week been?
Man, it's been interesting, man. I had a coach, man, a mentor, a father figure, a little bit of everything, man. A client passed away.
Oh damn, man! I'm sorry to hear it.
Yeah, it was. It totally caught me off guard. So older. He was my Pee Wee football coach. He and my uncle were best friends. So known him all my life. He's known me all my life. Grew up with my family on both sides. And he was a client every 3 weeks. So we had just had a birthday party for him. His wife and family put together a big birthday party maybe about 6-7 months ago, man. And he comes every 3 weeks, and then I get a text early Sunday morning. That said R.I.P. to him. His nickname was Big Daddy. I'm like, it caught me off guard. So I hit my homie who sent it to me. I'm like, what the hell? And yeah, man, found out he had Sunday night, man. Just threw me all off guard.
That's fucked up.
Needless.
That's to deal with. It's never no way to prepare yourself for loss, especially when it come out of nowhere.
Right.
And even more so when it's somebody that's that close to you.
Yeah.
Definitely. So my condolences to both you as well as his family and his loved ones. That's a lot to swallow at one time. Definitely.
So needless to say, you know, we had this conversation and this podcast not even a year ago. So I got a call, and his wife wants me to cut his hair.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I to tell her no? You know what I mean? It's heavy, but it's a privilege and an honor because I really looked up to him, man. He meant, it means a lot to me, man.
You say he was your Pee-wee coach?
He was my Pee-wee football coach.
Damn,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, now you got to do that for you. We did have that conversation, man. Me, you, Kenny Jinx, and Ayo.
Yep.
Hey, damn, I miss Ayo.
Yeah.
My boy Ayo.
Yeah.
God damn, Ayo, man. You working so hard, bro. We need you, bro. We need you, bro.
Yeah.
The good added energy, but
Yeah.
how are you feeling now? Do you feel like that cut that you did on your other friend, did that kind of prepare you for this moment? Because that, like, you know, we discussed, that's an enormous responsibility, and it's also a big it's a big burden, not necessarily a burden, but it's a big piece of you that you're gonna have to take in there. It's a big piece of you that you have to leave in that room too, because that's an enormous responsibility that comes with some emotional attachments to it.
Right. You know, it's one of those things like we talked last time. I just really sat back. I didn't have to think as much about this one as the last time. Being that one came, and just the thoughts that I had, like realizing, you know, he was, you know, he depended on me to cut his hair when he was here. So
Right.
who am I to say no? You know what I mean?
Right.
Depended on me to cut his hair when he was here, and so I think that's part of our responsibility. It's not easy, but I think it's part of my responsibility. So I take it with honor and privilege, man. I do.
Barber Baby LLC said, is this your first time cutting the deceased?
No, it's actually my second time, man. We did a podcast. If you go on YouTube, check us out. It was in depth, but it hasn't been a full year. So this will be my second one. So my first one, a friend and a client as well, that died suddenly. That was only about 3 or 4 years older than me. So yeah, this is my second.
Yeah. That's I don't know, man. I think that unlike a lot of people, I don't know, I don't talk to a lot of people, right? Personally, coming from where I come from, where we come from, because you're from there too, I have a very, some people may call cold demeanor towards death, because I've been around it for so long at a young age. Right. My way of coping with it and my way of understanding it was kind of turn off internally.
Right.
It became such a norm that it was norm, you know? And it was like, okay, people are here,
right,
and people aren't here. And it actually, the only good thing that came out of it, because being transparent with you and everybody on here, I don't believe that it's a healthy thing, right? To be that turned off emotionally to death.
Right.
However, it did present a positive opportunity, because it forced me to learn how to give people their flowers as much as I can while they're here, because so many people was dying so quickly and just randomly around me that it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna spend as much time as I can with the people. I think that's why I am the way I am when it comes to people. I dive in 100%. I want to do as much as I can. I want to talk to you as much as I can. I want to be available for you as much as I can. And everybody can't handle that. And I think these kind of conversations, it'll help me identify why that is, but it'll also explain to people why I am the way I am. It's because I dealt with so many people being just abruptly taken out of my life permanently, that it kind of forced me to be in a position where I need to give people as much of their flowers or be forthcoming and honest with how I feel about people while they're here, because you never know. None of us know when our last day is going to be.
Absolutely. It's crazy because, you know, you being from Chicago and me being from Champaign, only, you know, an hour and a half, you know, drive. It's two vastly different places. You know, it's starting to get a lot worse here. But for me, I'm older now, and so now for me, I'm out the way, if you will, and my kids are younger, but it's become a lot more violent than it's ever been, my time being here. But it was interesting because my grandfather died my senior year, but he lived in California for my whole life, and then he came back here the last 6 months of his life. My aunt passed in 2000 and was it 2007, 2009? Well, my mother's sister passed, and then my homie passed. I told you that was my close friend, who was a barber, one of my best friends. Prior to that, I hadn't had any experience of anybody close to me dying. And
Really?
So, yeah, you know, and so it's so crazy because I've been lucky and I've been blessed, but knowing that it's a part of the process and you can't duck it. You know, now I'm getting to that age and you're starting to see a lot more people check out. And the way I started dealing with it unconsciously, I kind of started to separate myself from everybody and everything, with the exception of my wife, to the point that that's almost not healthy, because we kind of have an separation anxiety type thing, you know what I mean? Because I stopped going out, because this was my homeboy. We partied together, we drank together, you know, and then he was no longer here. So now those same places I might visit that we used to frequent, it doesn't feel the same, and it's not a good feeling. So I just kind of cut everything out. You know, I don't drink like that anymore. Like when we went to CT, bro, that's the first time I done, you know, had a few drinks back-to-back days in years.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, in years. And so it felt good just to get away and be able to do that. But it really, it caused me a lot of, and I think some of the anxiety and depression that I talked about going into the job, I think part of that subconsciously kind of added into all that, and then everything kind of hit me like a brick and just exploded, man. So it's definitely something that I'm adjusting to, man. And I don't do it. And then my cousin passed away about 2 years ago. This is my first cousin. You know, I'm a year older than him. So then that hit me. So it's like it's becoming real. Like, you know, I got away with it for so long, but now you're confronted with it.
Yeah. And I want to say to everybody that's on the live right now that's listening to this conversation, we're not talking about death in the sense to try to bring anybody down. We're not talking about death in the sense to try to force the conversation and make you deal with your internal demons and nothing like that. We're talking about death it highlights the importance of mental readiness.
Right.
As a barber, as a person who service the public.
Absolutely.
Like Barbie Pink Barber said, people never realize how barbers aren't just barbers. We become a part of your families and a big part of people's lives. You become so implemented. You have to think people come to see you on weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly. No matter how much they frequent coming to see you, if people are loyal to you over the span of years, a lot of times you get to cut people so long that you get to see them have children, and you start cutting children hair, or you see their children have children. Like a lot of times in barbering is like doctors. A lot of cases, right? You have clients / patients that you deal with on a routine turnaround basis, and you become a big part of them people's lives. They become big parts of your life. I got a client that turned into my best friend, and it's to the point now where we watch each other kids. You understand what I'm saying? I got a 5-year-old daughter. Him and his wife come get my daughter and take my daughter and keep her for them. Right. They just had their first child it's my baby my baby Savory. My wife and I come and get their baby. Do you understand how trusting and how connected you got to be with somebody to drop your newborn baby off to them?
No doubt.
You got to be locked in,
Yeah.
for real. But I say all that to say, being mentally prepared for a client / friend / family member to pass is something that you probably want to deal with now. Like we said earlier, there is no perfect way to deal with or be ready for someone being, someone passing away.
Right.
However, it is a part of your profession. It is a less discussed part of your profession. Oh, my wife just jumped in here, goddamn. I'm about to turn up now. My baby in here. Fuck, goddamn.
Right.
No, for real. It is a big part of this industry. It is a big part of what we do. It is a very important part of what we do because, like you said, you're so connected with that family that you're the only person that comes to mind is, hey, can you prepare him for the last time we're going to see him?
Right.
That is an enormous responsibility.
Huge responsibility. And I told you the first time it happened, like when my man's mother asked me, man, I had to, she was being strong and I had to gather myself. I told her, give me an hour. Let me take it all in, because I removed myself from the thought of even being a barber because it hits me because I have relationships with these people. Right. So yesterday, they knew it would be tough. So his wife called my aunt. My aunt, instead of calling me, called my mother. My aunt didn't want to call me because she didn't know, if I would break down or whatnot. And so my wife said, well, I knew this was going to be a question. She was like, did you? I was like, I didn't even think about it. Even though 6-7 months ago, I just done the same thing. Never even thought about it because of the connection. I'm just with the mourning side of it. But then also it becomes my civic duty because I've taken care of him. And on the flip side, he's known me since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. He took care.
He's so connected with people, man. I have that, like I said, with my brother Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
You get so connected with people that you forget you met them through being a client.
Right.
I feel like I've been knowing Donnie my whole life.
That's what's up.
My entire life.
That's what's up.
Dead serious. So when we talking and we go out somewhere, I can't think of a time ever that it was in my mind I cut his hair. Right. Even when he come in to get his hair cut, it don't feel like a client coming in here to get his hair cut. It's like, oh, my brother coming by to see me. I'm going to cut his hair while he's here. And like you said, those connections run so deep that when you say that you never thought about the family coming to ask you that makes sense to me.
Right.
And to a lot of barbers on here, I'm sure that makes sense because you get so connected with people that the barber-client relationship part of it is overshadowed by the family, the love that you have for them, and the mutual love that y'all have for each other.
Yeah. It was extremely interesting, man. So that's been, I guess now I know what to expect, right? Mm-hmm. This is my last one, and I explained how it was so crazy that I locked in because when I talked to AO that day, and AO hit me and said, look, this is how I approach it. Man, when I went in there and I told y'all I locked in, man, I put my headphones in my music, I didn't shed a tear. It was like I fell in love with the process all over again of being a barber, because you realize what you mean and what your service means to so many people, because so many times we feel like we're taken for granted, right?
Absolutely.
It was that type of thing. Like, you just realize, man, like wow, this is deep, and I have a responsibility to my community and to the people that I service and the people that depend on me. And so, absolutely. Yeah, after that, it'll never be the same. And it's an expectation, and I take it with great pride, even though, and it's also made me kind of look at it because I don't deal with death well at all. But it's also become more of a reality. Like, this is part of the process.
Absolutely. I get it, man. And I'm interested to hear, now that you've done it, you know, you cut somebody in that circumstance, in that situation, in that environment. Right. You have a preparedness about yourself. You kind of know how to approach it. I am interested to touch bases with you again afterward, and to not at all, in any form, belittle. Whoa, he went away. All right, he coming back now. Don't y'all go nowhere. He coming back. Instagram be playing. And you know, he an older man, so he got a flip phone probably. So you gotta give him a second. While we waiting on Osh, let's do some shout outs. Who all jumped in? We got winning tight. What's the word? I am Day Young for real, or Day Ugg for real. Okay, King's Barber. My boy, what's going on, bro? I would love to hear your perspective on this. Have you ever been asked to cut a client who's passed away? Have you ever cut a deceased person? Is it something is it a service that you offer? Is it anything that you've ever been asked to do? With a clientele base as big as yours, I'm sure it's probably been handed down to you. Hunt the Barber, my guy. Tank B Chopping, my guy. Two of the families right there, most definitely. I can't say your name. Let me see. Danny Tattoo _ Art 2. You thought I was gonna read that wrong? No, bro. I'm gonna read it right. What's going on? How you doing? Who we got? We got Elena 15 _ Locks. What's going on? I'll be seeing you too. Listen, if you don't know, she's a female bodybuilder. I think she's going for a pro card if she hasn't already received it. You and your husband be putting in work. I'm talking about crazy work. I love to see it. Rail _ the Barber 87. What's the word? What's the word? Let's see. Let's get Osh back on this thing. He coming. Y'all hold on a second. Y'all hold up. Yeah, there you go.
I'm back.
There you go.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
We had a few people jump in, man. We got a request from Tank and Cuts by Smiley. Let's pull them on real quick. Oh, Smiley took his away. Okay. Coming on. Cuts by Smiley. If you still here, send your request back, bro. I wasn't ignoring you. We was in the midst of the conversation. I'll be trying not to just have people join while the conversation going on. Tank, what's the word, bro? How you living?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let me cut this light on real quick. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
Chilling, man. Y'all know what I'm doing. When y'all see the sneakers in the background, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm up in my office, man. I'm up in the office. Trying, man.
Content creating. Yeah.
Speaking of content, man, I got to tell you something that had me so frustrated, man. I had to take a couple hours to just sit down and don't do nothing. I got all this content from CT, right? I put everything on my laptop, edited, put it all together. It's nice, packaged well, and my laptop crashed.
Right. Ooh.
And all the hours of putting that work in, lost it all.
Ooh. Bro, so what you do?
I don't know what happened, bro. It just crashed. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'm going to release those videos and segments because I still got it on my camera. I got all the raw footage on my SD card on my camera, so I'm just slowly moving it over and releasing a segment. So I got so much content, bro. It's crazy. And it broke my heart because I was ready to post everything Sunday, like the last Sunday that passed. And it was like, bro, now I have nothing to post. So I thought about the conversation we had. It's time to repackage and repurpose what I came from. I just started posting the stuff that I have.
That's good. I mean, it's not good, but, you know, sometimes you got to pivot, you know what I'm saying? And that's good that you didn't let it. Because me, I would have been really upset. But I probably would have, once you know, take a step back and relook at the situation, you have to reassess it. But I got two options. Cry about it, complain, be mad, or take it for what it is and let's just rebuild.
Right, baby. Keep on rolling. Yeah, it is what it is. Man, it happens. Technology is technology. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'd have been sick.
So let me ask you, Tank, have you ever and this is going to be the craziest segue you ever heard in your life, because it's coming like bang bang, right? have you ever been asked to service a deceased client, a client who's passed away?
Me personally, I have not, but two of the barbers at the shop have, and they were like, good clients of the shop. They went pretty frequently, weekly, if not bi-weekly. They were there pretty frequently. And one of my boys, the barber next to me, Germ, he went and cut up one of his clients that passed away. And this was a couple years back.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say his name because, I don't want to put him out there. I mean, not that he's watching or he's not, but I had a client, man. I hope you don't get mad at me for speaking on this. Sad story, man, honestly. And this broke my heart, bro. Like, it broke my heart. He comes he don't come very regularly. He comes maybe once a month, every other month, every 2 months. He just comes sporadically. Like, I never know when he's coming. It's always him and his two kids, man. And one time he came, him and his two kids, and then 2-3 months later, it's just him and one of his kids. And I knew that he had a baby mama, you know what I'm saying? So I figured, with one kid's with the mom. Right. And I'm just cutting one of the kids up, and I asked him, like, hey, so how's your other son doing? Bro, tell me why he broke down and told me, man, he passed away last time, the day after you cut his hair last time.
Ooh.
Bro, I felt so bad. And I mean, it wasn't my fault, right? Like, I was just trying to create conversation.
Yeah.
And I just felt horrible, bro. Like I instantly felt like a piece of, like, just horrible, man. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, man, like, so he started breaking down, and he's like thanking me. He goes, man, I appreciate the haircut you gave him that day. Like, that's one thing less we had to worry about. It was a really good haircut. And I was like, man, like, that dude really appreciated that cut that I gave him. Like, it was the last cut that kid had, man. And it's sad that had to happen. And he's like talking to me, bro. And I'm like really feeling like bad, bro. So I finished the kid's haircut. I cut the dad's hair. And he's pulling out his card to pay me. I'm like, nah, man, don't worry about it. Like, you've been through too much, man. Like, don't even worry about it. He goes, nah, man. He goes, like, I appreciate you. Like, I want to show you my gratitude to you. I'm like, nah, like, don't worry about it. Well, after about 5 minutes, I've learned that it's hard to not accept payment when somebody really wants to pay you. So I'm like, all right, man. Like, he's like, well, how much? I'm like, whatever you want to pay, bro. $5, $10, I don't care. Like, it's on me. This dude paid me for 3 haircuts. And I'm like, I told him, I said, hey, like, that's too much, bro. He goes, no. He goes, it's been me and my 2 kids. We've been coming to you for like 2 or 3 years now. He's like, so it shouldn't change for you. He goes, I'm still going to pay you the same, even though it's only 2 of us now. And, bro, like, my heart, like, broke, bro. Like, I wanted to cry right then and there, bro. It's like,
deal with that. That will tug at your heartstrings for anything dealing with children.
Yeah.
But also the mindset, because the way I would be thinking in that situation is, yes, he's paying for him and the son, although I said you didn't have to.
Right.
But him paying for the past son, that has to speak to him internally. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's something that he's working his way through. He's grieving.
Yeah.
Right.
And in that moment, you're part of his grieving. You know what I mean? That's
So I think it would have been more disrespectful for me not to take
Absolutely.
So let me also mention something. I've never mentioned this on camera. Just him speaking of a situation. And like I said, as I'm getting older, death is something that I didn't deal with. And let's all knock on wood, because like I said, as I've gotten older, it's a reality that's now hitting me. So since I've been in the barbershop, actually tomorrow, I just remembered, tomorrow makes 2 years that the shop has been open, right?
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So I got this dude from town. I used to cut him. He's a little younger than me. Used to cut him some years ago. And once I opened the shop, he came in, and so his sister, I knew he had siblings. I'd never met them before. Knew about his family, his stepdad, because they used to kind of butt heads, kind of knew about that, but never had met anyone but him. So his sister moved back from Houston. She was married, and her husband ended up splitting up. So I was cutting. He introduced me to his sister and his nephew because they needed a barber. Started cutting the son's head. The mom would bring him. So then she turned her father, who's a pastor, on to me. I still cut his hair. He started coming to get his hair cut. So one day, months after, I hadn't been cutting their hair his hair a whole year. He comes in and he has this look, and the brother, he's going through his own personal problem, but he has this just dormant look on his face. So I'm like, what's going on, bro? He said, man, that my sister and my nephew dead. I said, huh? He said, man, her husband drove from Houston because she had just moved out of her parents' house, getting back on her feet, got her own apartment about 45 minutes away from here. He drove down. I guess she thought they were trying to connect. He drove down 15 hours from Houston, got there within 15 minutes of him being at the apartment. He killed his wife, he killed his son, and he killed himself. Wow. And they had been coming and sitting in my shop. I was getting to know this young man, and, you know, she was a sweetheart, and the young man, he was 5, 6 years old, man. And it just tore my heart out my chest. And then so I ended up cutting Dad before the funeral. Like I said, he's a pastor, and just his strength, and just realizing, man, this is an unfortunate part of what it is we do, but it's a part of what we do. We make relationships, and we all know we'll be here at some point in time. As well as you're born, you have to die. It's just the reality of life.
Absolutely. And not to pivot away from it too far, but I do want to kind of let's swing the mood up a little bit, because that's a little morbid, man, and that's rough. Yeah. I'm already having a rough ass week. I don't want to go home.
Yeah. Let's switch. Let's
flip that thing a little bit. But what I do want to talk about along the same lines of that is mentality of a barber.
Right.
The mentality of a barber. I think that a lot of people jump into the industry and they don't understand the importance of being mentally prepared to be a barber. Being a barber is way more than cutting hair. It's way more than being active on social media. Being a barber comes with a sense of mental preparedness that a lot of people, unfortunately, don't put into perspective before they jump into this industry. You have to understand that you are servicing people. You are dealing with actual thinking, breathing, feeling, talking, emotionally driven human beings. Right. Your mental preparedness got to be on point, right, or you will deal with some people like to call it, they like to phrase it, burnout. Burnout. I think what it is you've reached the ceiling of your mental preparedness in that moment. Mm-hmm. Right? You're dealing with a situation, you're dealing with an altercation, a person or a personality type that's put you at your limit of preparedness mentally, emotionally, to deal with whatever is going on. But I want to ask you, gentlemen, and we also have somebody waiting to join. We had Cuts by Cruz _LLC. I'm getting you in there, Cruz. Don't you worry, bro. You gonna get on. And you better be ready, because we having this conversation. If you come on here and you ain't got nothing to say relative to what we talking about, immediately we taking you off of that thing. Immediately. It's gonna be fast, bro. It's gonna blow your mind. But I want to pose the question to y'all. What are you gentlemen doing to continue to stay mentally and emotionally prepared for this industry and what we do?
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off first. So like you said, it's difficult, and it's the stress of working, the stress of, me personally, like being a man, being the head of household, trying to provide for my family, the stress of making sure I have time for my family, making sure I have time for the shop, making sure I have all my ducks in a row with all the content that I'm trying to create. So it's very stressful. And to prepare for it, the only thing, honestly, like the thing I do a lot now, which I didn't do maybe 6, 7 years ago when I would get burnt out, is I pray a lot, bro, every morning. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever jumped in on my lives in the morning, but every morning, bro, I go live and I you know, maybe not the first thing I do once I'm speaking on the live, but is I like to thank God on my live, because for me, he helps take away a lot of the stressors that I don't need to be dealing with. You know, we like to overthink certain situations. We just, that's just who we are as human beings. We start thinking a lot about stuff, overthinking it. We're stressed out, bills, you know, the household, whatever. So I know for me, praying has helped me a lot. Like literally after I talk to the man up above, man, like I feel just refreshed, ready to go. Absolutely. You know, and that helps me a lot. And then also I know for me and for a lot of people, the gym, man, the gym actually helps a lot of people just get into their own, you know, their relaxation state of mind, and just lets them relieve some of that stress that they may have due to work, or due to them not having enough work, or due to them working too much.
No doubt.
Fact.
So for me, of course, prayer, but being how it came full circle for me, cutting full time. Every morning I wake up and I'm thankful for what God has blessed me with, right? I remember getting up and not being in a position where I could comfortably pay my bills, right? Mm-hmm. When I had more responsibility and I had less resources, you know, having, you know, 6 kids and a wife and a household. And so I'm just thankful every day, because it could always be worse. Like the story I just told, you know, about the young lady and her son. I'm up and I'm breathing. Every morning that God allows me to get up out of bed, my loved ones, it's a win for me. And so I'm just at a place in my life where I look and I think of all the mistakes and all the struggle that I went through, and I'm just thankful. And so I pray every day, and I thank God every day for allowing me to be able to get up and be able to do something that I love to do every day. Because like when we were at CT, Andy Authentic said it, 92% or better of people don't get to do what they love to do for a living. Yeah. And we have that option. And so it pushes me. And you guys also push me, watching you guys continue to rise, and the bar, the CT, you know, there's always outlets. So I'm thankful every day for what it is that I.
Yeah. I think that was a great question posed by look who's right now. Can empaths be barbers? I think that's a heavy question, because I'm an empath. I'm Pisces, March 9th. And I feel all the feelings, but not just all the feelings that I feel all the feelings that everybody else feels. I think for me, right, and this is just me personally, I believe that empaths can and can't be barbers, right? You have to be, in order to be a barber or working in any public service situation as an empath, you have to be mentally strong. You have to be, because you're going to naturally take on everything that other people are dealing with before they be willing to give it to you. Just being around somebody who's in a low frequency is going to bring your frequency down, because you're going to absorb the energy that you're around. Me personally, the way that I deal with it as a barber,
what's good? For sure.
I absorb all the energy that I can, but in my absorbing of that energy, I try to be as people as I can. I try to give back positivity. No matter what you bring to me, I try to give you back positivity. The only time I can't give you back positivity is if when you're bringing just an obscene amount of negativity to me. And at that point, I'm not going to give you nothing back. I'm just going to eliminate you from my life. I need to remove you from my life, because I understand that I'm an empath. Yeah. I understand that the energy that's put around me becomes the energy that I embark on and that I take on. So if yours isn't right, exit stage left immediately. You got to go, right? Yeah. Before y'all jump in on that one, let's go ahead and get my boy in here. He been waiting. He been in that queue.
Get him in here.
Cuz by Cruz, you coming up, boy. You better, boy. You better, boy. You on here. Let's see what you got to talk about. Here he come. And you ain't got no light. Oh,
Right.
Oh, I mean, I can turn on the light. That ain't no problem, bro.
you messing up. There you go.
I'm
boy.
stuck in traffic. I just came from doing house calls, man. They got and this it sucks because this is the only bridge and they got 2 lanes.
Okay.
So
Where you from?
yeah.
Where you from?
Well, I'm right now I'm in Charleston. I'm coming back from Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
So first and foremost, we want to tell you how much we appreciate you for jumping on and kicking it with us on the I Cut My Way Out podcast.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I ain't mean to cut you off, but I was rude, man. I ain't say what's up to none of y'all, man. What's up, fellas?
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. So
word up.
Let's talk about it, man. What do you have on your mind, man? What you want to discuss?
Nah, that same question that you that y'all was asking. Well, both questions. Well, the 3 questions about the deceased people and if we impactors. You know what I'm saying? So we are impactors because it's just the fact of getting a haircut makes a huge impact on people.
It does.
Make a huge impact. You don't understand how much that brings life and value, and it speaks to the person who hasn't got a haircut or has been going to different barbers and been constantly getting damaged, they take pushed back, and they finally find a barber that really sit there and connect with the hair and makes them feel like something. It wakes them up. If they had a bad day, they come sit there and go to the barbershop. Boom, a haircut bring them right back. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? They could be having a shitty day. They could be having the worst day of their life. They come and sit there and take a load off at the barbershop, and most of the times they'll sit there and wait until inside of the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Just to have that peace of mind because they vibing with us. They're hearing the music. You know what I'm saying? If you know, they got a pool table inside. You know what I'm saying? In the barbershop, they either playing pool or, you know what I'm saying, most of the barbershops I've been to, they be having drinks in the, you know what I'm saying, in the back. You know what I'm saying? Food or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They be having either catering or food truck outside. You know what I mean? So it's always something to do inside of the barbershop, especially on a Friday and a Saturday. It's like it's a vibe. It's the whole environment. So, you know what I'm saying? We do make an impact. We ain't make an impact on little kids. You know what I'm saying? When they come get a haircut from us since little, you know what I'm saying? We train them, you know, and we work with them. We sit there, we talk to them, we make them laugh. We do whatever we need to make sure that the kid is comfortable with us.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think you make a lot of valid points, man, that barbering is an enormous impact on people, but I think that like I think, you know, you're also saying that goes both ways. People as barbers, you could be having a rough day, or you could be having one of them days. I know, okay, all the barbers on here, tell me if you've experienced this. Just if you've experienced what I'm about to say, throw a thumbs up in the comments. If you're a barber or a stylist, you run on appointments, and one of them days in a week, all your annoying clients book on the same day. You experience that. Throw them thumbs up in the comments, right? So
yes, sir.
Going back to what my boy is saying, it's days that you can be experiencing one of them days, or even if you just got one client that just put you, like he know how to push every single button you got. He press them off, right? Right after that client, you can have that client that you locked in with mentally, that you locked in with as an empath. Your energy kind of balances each other, and he come in and completely take the day and just make it better. Just because that person came in with the energy that they always come with, they just being them. They come in, and energy is so important in any business or profession that you do dealing with people. Good energy can change the trajectory of a day. Bad energy can ruin a good day.
Absolutely.
Reciprocation, man. You got to be able to reciprocate the same energy that you've been given. You've been given bad energy, like you said earlier. I gotta block you from my life. You are no good to me. You are no, and I don't care how much money you bring to the table. Just like I replaced you, guess what? There is 10 others that is waiting in line.
Fact.
You know? So a lot of people, they sit there and they have that misconception of barbering. They're like, oh, and that's money that you're losing on the table. No, that's not. I'm building a community. You know what I'm saying? Within myself, within my business, because it's not just the haircut. You building relationships.
Absolutely.
So once you sit there and you create a circle of people, whether it's 50, 75, 100, 200 clients that you constantly sit there and cut on a regular basis, those 200 are bringing you a lifetime supply of business.
Yeah.
Because the more 200 people sit there and tell 1 or 2 people in their circle or 5 people in their circle, do that number.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's how you multiply and build your business. That's absolutely right. Before y'all finish that, I just want to say to Dre, Cutflow Dre, first of all, welcome back to the Laugh, my guy. How you doing? Life is good. Cutflow Dre, if you got a chance, when you got a chance, I need you to get on because I got a question that's been burning deep down inside my chest muscles that I got to ask you about one of your reels that I saw that I want you to elaborate on because I feel like it's going to be the next viral clip because it's a under-discussed, over-discussed, need to be discussed topic. When you get a chance, come join. But go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to cut y'all off.
So for me, man, I think first of all I want to say what up to Cutflow Dre too, man. He sent out a huge shout to us in the podcast, man. He forever throwing assists, man, and greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
But me, I've also learned to control the energy in my shop. You know what I mean? I'm just right now. I feel like, you know, you on the other side. Like, you know, it was a comedian said, man, you know, your summers is down. You might have 30 summers left. So I ain't got no time for no to be stealing my joy. So I set the balance and I set the energy in how I keep
me too.
Back. Same way it gives out, man. I refuse at this point to let one person twist my whole day.
Absolutely.
I just can't do it. What's up?
Absolutely.
What's up, buddy?
Dre.
What's going on? What's going on?
James Johnson. What's going on, James Johnson? Brother Josh, J Blends _. You got to remember the underscores. J Blends. Don't forget the underscore. Please say the underscore.
Please say the underscore.
Say the underscore. What's going on? G14 gonna be at the MLB trade show in Tennessee on the 11th. Gotta throw that out there. Dre, I gotta ask you. You ready for it?
Yeah.
You ready for it? First, that hat fire. Let's put that out there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, bro, I like
that. Faded culture.
I
culture in the building.
I tapped in with them today, man.
In the building.
Things upcoming.
So what I gotta ask you is this, bro. You could.
My bad. My wife said.
What's going on, Miss? Okay. So the question is this: you could either be dependent or you could be independent.
Oh yeah, you saw the post.
Yeah, what am I talking about, bro? To let the world know, because I need more people. That's one of the most needed discussions in barbershops around the world, and I think you broke it down. But I would love for us to unwrap it some more because there's so much more that you couldn't fit into that post.
Yeah, tell me about it, right? So yeah, I feel like, well, it's not just I feel like, but I honestly think this is the way that it needs to be done, especially for booth rent barbers, right? Like,
so talk about the post because I hadn't got a chance to see it. So everybody.
So on the post, I say you got to pick one of two. You can't have both. You have to pick one of two. Okay. Are you a dependent barber or independent? Are you dependent on the shop to build your clientele? If that's the case, then you got to work the shop hours. You know, yeah, you can take the 2 days off, but you need to work the shop hours. Because if you don't work the shop hours, and when I say work the shop hours, I'm talking about being there when they open and leaving when they close. Because if you're dependent on the shop, then you have to be dependent on, then you have to be in line with the hours. If you're not in line with the hours and you want to come whenever you want to come, then you're being independent.
Right.
So if you're being independent, you want to work your own hours, be independent with your hours. Well, you also have to be independent when it comes to building your clientele.
Absolutely.
You can't have both. You can't be dependent on the shop to build your clientele and be independent when it comes to your hours.
Absolutely.
So did you fellas catch all that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Now,
the part I wanted to talk to you about, Dre, and get you to unpackage even more on that is what about the mindset of the barber who feels like they can be both? Because you always got the hybrid barber who feel like, well, I'm the exception to the rule. I could be both. I could be independent and dependent. I could be dependent on the shop for you to keep the lights and the water and all the pretty things that I like and all that things. And I could be dependent on you to still brand and promote me and what I do because I'm doing it in your business. This is your business, so you need to promote me in your business. What do you say to the hybrid barber who wants to be both dependent and independent?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't call it hybrid because hybrid sounds like a positive thing. That's definitely not a positive thing. And on top of that, most barbers won't, a barber ain't going to say that in your face. He ain't going to tell you that, but he will tell you that. And most barbers do tell you that with their actions. But they don't even realize it. They don't even realize what their actions are saying. And that's the problem. That's why it's important. And this is, I told my guys, it's been on me ever since I've been on the social media run. I've been not focusing as much on them as I should have, and I told them that in the last meeting that's on me. We have to make changes. The changes got to start at the top. So I let them know. I know that I got to make changes, but we're gonna make all changes together. But yeah, like me and my brother were just talking yesterday. He was like, "This is common sense, though. They gotta know this is common sense." But I'm like, it might seem like common sense to us.
Absolutely.
But if you let somebody do something for a certain amount of time without making them feel like it's wrong, common sense goes out the window. It's just basically them just going what they're used to, just being used to doing things a certain way.
Yeah, motion is motion, whether it's positive or negative. Motion is motion. And people will, and I'll say this. While there are a lot of people who will respond to what you aren't doing and what you aren't saying the same way they'll respond to what you are saying and are doing, there are people who are intentionally going to feed off energy that you don't present. If you don't present the energy to say what you want and how you want or delegate proper responsibility or expectations, you have a lot of people who will see that, recognize that, have the ability to correct it within themselves, but because you don't present that, they'll just do whatever they want to do because you're not presenting that energy for them to derive from. Personally, this is another transparent moment. That's something.
This is why I like the I Cut My Way Out podcast, because we could go from goofing around into professor mode at the snap of a finger.
Yes, sir.
Snap of a finger.
What was you finna
So
say?
I got a quick question for you, Dre. So you deal with booth rent or commission?
Booth rent.
Okay. So how do you deal with your and how many barbers again?
14.
Okay. God damn. So hey, salute.
Well, 14 include. It's really 12. 14 including me and my brother, and we're co-owners.
So how do you deal with the thought? Because me and Shav talked about this often. The thought of people, because they're independent contractors. When you talk about being dependent or independent, how do you deal with the everyday barber working in your shop in regards to your shop hours and the expectations that you and your brother have of the barber?
So, the more hours you work, the more work you're putting in, the more lenient I am on you. You know what I'm saying? The more, if you're showing up when we open up every day and then closing, and you take your 2 days off, and then but I'm not putting any pressure on anybody to work whatever. I let them work whatever hours they want. But the ones that are actually coming in and putting the work, those are the ones that hold more weight in terms of anything they want to bring up. I'm not going to. So if you're a barber that never showing up, you better not complain about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ain't holding no weight around here, bro. So the ones that, and this is something that me and my brother discussed. Instead of promoting the shop as a whole all the time, I'm planning to promote the barbers that are putting in the work. Right. The ones that are client, and that'll be a perk to working hard, right? With the showing up, because we're really, that's the main thing, just showing up. And we get slow just like every other shop, bro. But the thing is, if you're gonna take off just because we slowing down, that's not the you don't got the that's not the pedigree, that's not the ingredients to you know, like building clientele. And another thing too, like I know you guys seen it, barbers have been working for three years at a shop and still heavily relying on walk-ins because they haven't built the clientele. They don't do what's necessary on every single person that's sitting on a chair to turn them into a client. And it's not that they can't cut, because they could do all the cuts. It's just that you gotta want to build clientele. And I started realizing a lot of barbers don't want to build clientele for one reason or the other. One of the reasons is because they know that once they build a clientele, they got to show up whenever the clients hit them up.
Yep.
And they want
the expectation. Yeah.
I never thought about that. So Cruz, talk to me, bro. Talk to me. We got you on here. We need to know. First off, them glasses fire again. I don't know if I told you. I was thinking, but I didn't say
that.
So
hey, shouts out to Habibi, yo. I got these.
Habibi, hey, listen. Habibi the guy.
I'm telling you, listen. He racked up everybody in CT. Almost everybody I seen rocking shades, bro. He had a fire ass set. I ain't even gonna.
Wish I would have known. I'd have grabbed a pair of them joints.
These bifocals. I gotta be able to see things. You understand?
Right.
I mean, I can see. I had these on all day. You can see they had a little tint to them, but it ain't bad.
I got the prescription.
They do look fire, bro.
Fire, bro. Especially under these, you got ambient light like he in a cigar lounge. Right. You got it going for you. But I want to ask you a question, bro.
What's up? Talk to me.
You came on. The first thing you said is you was coming from a house call. So understanding that you do offer those convenient services, those above and beyond services, I salute to you. A lot of barbers aren't doing those things anymore. My question to you are you in a shop? Do you own a shop? Are you paying rent? Is it commission? We digging into your personal now, bro. Talk to us.
I'm managing the shop, and we actually have 15 locations. We inside like almost every Walmart in Charleston. We starting to branch out of Columbia. Barbers Inc. That's the name. And I manage one of the shops. I actually damn near run the shop. And it's a booth. It's for me. It's booth rent because I'm the manager. So I pay little next to nothing. To be honest with you.
And you said those shops are operating all inside of Walmart.
Yeah, we got one in West Ashley. We got one in Emerson. We got one in Rivers Avenue. We got one in Tanger Outlet. There's one in Columbia. We got 2 inside the mall, Northwoods Mall. We also have one in Goose Creek. And we got a few other ones that I'm unaware of.
So it sounds like you connected to a pretty good brand, a pretty big brand from where you are. And what city are you in? What state you in exactly?
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, y'all got some good golf out there, but we ain't gonna deviate. We're gonna stay on point.
Right.
So I want to ask you, one, first and foremost, when you say that speaks, and that to me that says that you display some type of leadership, some type of ability, some type of trust to be able to put in a position to be asked to manage a shop that has that many shops attached to it. So is there a difference in having a booth rental shop inside of a Walmart? Have you ever worked in a shop outside of that, like a traditional shop?
Yeah. I started off at a shop. Shouts out to Thomas the Barber. He got me on. That was the Cut Edge Barbershop. That was in Otranto. And then after that, I went to Diamond Cut. Shouts out to Donnie. You know what I'm saying? From there, I went to Luciano's. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my man Luch. And then after that, I went to Barbers Inc. So I worked inside a commission shop, and I worked inside an actual barber shop and a shop inside one.
So how long?
Yeah. So 13 professionally, and then I started off when I was in high school. To be honest with you, I was just shaping up myself. I would always be that one in class because I know how to draw. So I would be in class and I would always take a look at people's lineups and I would always trace them with my finger. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When I was in class and I was like, yo, his line pushed back, his fade is uneven.
Cricket, my boy. Facts.
So I used to do that. No, I'm dead ass. And then after that, you know, my mom raising 3 kids, you know, by herself. You know, I ain't had a luxury to get inside a barbershop every week like I wanted to.
Right.
Yo, I had a beard since I was in middle school, to be honest with you. Listen, I started off with a 5 o'clock shadow. You know, people thought I was the assistant. I was one of the assistant teachers in that motherfucker. You know? Like that,
so you was one of them kids on the baseball team. That ain't no kid.
Right.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. And first off, we appreciate you being transparent with everything, because you brought up 2 points that I definitely want to ask you about, because these are things that me and Ashton, we done went back and forth about that I need to know from the perspective of somebody who's worked in both environments. But before I jump into that question, I know the people in the comments and the people watching the live did not think I forgot about them, because I did not. What I need you to do, if you are in this live right now, before we roll into the next question, drop your city. Where you from? We want to know the city check-ins. If you proud of where you at, you proud of where you from, drop your city. If you don't, you can't love where you at, bro. And why you even, you know what I'm saying, entertaining the internet and you don't love where you at? You got to let us know where you at. So wherever you are, wherever you cutting at, wherever you doing hair at, wherever you doing nails at, wherever you just on your phone casually watching one of the dopest podcasts on Instagram, put your city down there in the comments so we can shout your city out. Now back to my boy who been telling us everything.
Wait, before you get to that, don't forget to tell them why they at it. They might as well follow.
Let them know. Go ahead. Let them know.
Speak to them.
Here, everybody dropping their city. As Chad would tell you, go up to the arrow, drop down, and follow the @iCutMyWayOut _pod.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Bro, I had people asking me about the shirt, man, the white shirt with the "I cut my way out." A lot of people asking me about that thing. Is it
about it? What that mean? What does that mean? They want to know.
Is that thing for sale or not?
Yeah, definitely. We gonna get it. Me and Shaq gonna talk. We may do pre-orders. And that way we
do pre-orders, bro. I talked to because I'm about to do pre-orders on my what's the name. I actually had my last session with my designers on my product investment, my barber investment, right? And
oh man, as soon as he
froze.
There, you get
Why would he get to the juicy
Instagram
part,
Instagram something else, gang.
When he get to the to the real juicy part,
Eating potatoes, Instagram like you won't.
He got to upgrade, man. He got that Metro PC, yo. He got that Metro PC. Yes.
Back at that shop, it looked like, you know, Dre, he high energy, bro. He high octane. We're gonna get him back on.
Yeah, he probably gonna jump on.
But
so what was that? What was that question you wanted to ask me, yo?
The question was, you worked in both environments, be it commission and buffering. Can you briefly describe the differences, the advantages of commission and the disadvantages of commission versus the advantages of buffering and the disadvantages of buffering?
All right. So first and foremost, I'm gonna break down the booth rent because that's where I was start off at first. So booth rent is good, but there's a but. You can't get comfortable. You can't get comfortable, and I know barbers, they get comfortable because they know if that's the only thing that they do, whatever they do outside of the barbershop, I done seen it with my own eyes. I done seen barbers that come in there, work 2 days and be gone 5. I done seen they can't come in at 4 days and be gone 3. There's some that work 5 and be gone 2. So there's a whole. I done seen barbers that came in there 1 day a week,
right.
one time,
Right.
and we all looking at each other like, "Yo, why even waste your time coming to the shop if you're only working
Right.
1 day?" You know, that would piss me off. You know what I'm saying? But we're working in a shop that you pay booth rent, you get to see all of your money,
Right.
but it's up to you to manage and understand that you got to respect the money that is coming in.
Right.
Because the money's going to be coming in abundance, especially if you grinding, you putting in work. You talking about making anywhere from $600 to $700 a day. A day. And even for the top notch barbers that charge, you know what I'm saying, 50 on up, 100 on up, they getting $2,000-$3,000 a day. And they know that, okay, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna spend it, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and make the same thing. That's the wrong mindset. You have to account for a rainy day. You gotta account for those days that ain't nobody coming in the shop, ain't nobody booking, ain't no walk-ins, because there's gonna be those droughts. There's gonna be those droughts. You have to account for the next. For if you're having a great day, you make, you know what I'm saying, close to 1,000. Put it away.
So I have a question. Do you prefer as a barber to pay booth rent or commission? What's your preference?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the commission part. So I would pay booth rent, and if once I get my own, guess what? My barbers is gonna be paying their booth rent because I want them to enjoy their money. That's the whole purpose. I'm not going, I'm not in this game to be greedy. Because think about it. Dre was on the line with us. He got 14 barbers. So depending on how much he charging, you know what I'm saying, a week. If he charging $300 a week, that do the math. Why be greedy and sit there and get commission shot where you smacking heads and charging their barbers 50% of their commission or 40%, whatever mathematics.
I don't know because let's say in a 14-chair shop you are charging $250, $300 for booth rent. That money isn't going to Dre personally. That's money going back into the business.
To the business, I understand.
You're going into a commission base. If your goal, and this is my stance on that, right? And it's not to disagree with anybody. Everybody have their own opinions, and we can all respectfully live in line with each other's opinions, right? I feel like if your goal is to open up a barbershop and grow that barbershop itself, then yeah, booth rent may be a great option for you because you can do a lot and you can make the business can make a lot of money to grow the business. But if your goal, like the company you work for, if your goal is to open a shop, to open another shop, or open another business, or finance another business, booth rent ain't gonna get it because it has a ceiling on it. You have to go another way. And if your goal, even if you don't want to do it business wise, if you want to be able to reinvest back into the barbers inside of the business, booth rent has a ceiling on it. You're going to be limited to what you're going to be able to deposit back into those barbers who bringing in and servicing those clients. Whereas commission gives you that ability to redeposit. Like you see these shops that have matching capes, matching aprons, matching walls. They got shoes with the shop name on it and everything be updated every year. They can change the face of the shop and recreate and re-image the whole shop. A lot of time, almost 85% of the time, those are commission-based shops that's able to do that.
Yeah, I would do a commission-based shop, but I'm not going to smack heads like they're doing because there's two barbershops that I'm going to slander their name. You know what I'm saying? Because they doing amazing. You know, they charging 50%.
Yes,
I won't me personally. I won't charge my barbers 50%. Give me 30. You know what I'm saying? Give me 30%. You keep 70.
Yeah.
I think let me jump in on this real quick. So I don't run the shop, but I know people who do commission and booth rent shops. So a lot of commission-based shops, what they do is they cater to those barbers who don't have any clientele. Fresh out of barber school, come into the shop, don't know who to cut, nothing. So they cater to those barbers, and they're telling these barbers, like, hey, you come and work for me, I'm going to guarantee you're going to eat, right? Exactly. I'm going to guarantee we're going to put money in your pocket. Yeah. So let's say they only cut 10 heads for that week. Commission may be, 60-40, 60 being the shop, right? But they still eating. And as they progress their clientele up, they reach, their commission goes down. So now instead of them paying 60, now once they reach 20 heads, it goes to 50. Or once they reach 30 heads, it goes down to 40. And then once they reach a cap, a lot of times the shops that I know is what they do is commission with a cap. So once you reach a certain clientele for 3 weeks in a row, or I don't know the exact number, but I don't recall it. But once you reach being able to be booked this many heads in a row, you're now booth rent. Now you only got to pay the shop owner X amount of dollars. So it all depends on the way they structure the commission base. That I feel is fair.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. But you know, the ones that I've seen, yo, smacking barbers for 50%, that's a lot. Yo, I know barbers that I was sitting there working, I'm looking at the side, because me, I always did booth rent. You know what I'm saying? And the barbershop they always looked out, even though everybody else was commissioned, they never put me on commission because they knew that I was bringing my clientele with me. Any barbershop that I went, everybody would follow me, and everybody know that I didn't need them. You know, I just needed a place to cut. You know what I mean? Because I was sitting there moving around from shop to shop. So, you know, the commission shops, that's what they designed to do. They market, they brand their name, they make sure like my man said earlier, they put a guarantee on the clients. They're gonna guarantee the clients, because these are barbers that's coming straight out of barber school that don't got no clients, but they go to a commission shop, they're gonna eat because their name is already circulating on all type of media platforms, and they always constantly giving that promotion and giving, you know, they already have a name set for them, so they don't have to worry about those days that nobody comes inside the shop, because a commission-based shop, even the owner himself got to do his job to ensure that, okay, if I'm charging these barbers this much, and and that's a requirement, you know what I'm saying, at the end of every week or the end of every day, that this is how much they got to give me, I need to do my part. So that puts more work on the owner itself when it's a commission base, because he can't fail. Because if he fails, everybody else fails in the shop.
And I think too, that's why a lot of shops don't do commission based. Like a lot of people do booth rent because they don't want to be liable for someone else's successes and failures. Like, yes, to a certain extent, the shop owner is going to help the newer barbers out. But it's like, if this dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't want to hold this dude out and not let him make money because of whatever reason, I don't want to be so accessible also. So think about it like this, like if I was the shop owner and I'm doing commission and we're out of paper towels, guess who has to go get them? If we're doing commission and we're out of toilet paper, guess who has to go get it? You know, so you make yourself more accessible to your employees, you know, the people working in your shop, because they have to be accessible to you because you're giving them a paycheck. So it's different.
I get that. But not to cut you off. Hold on. But on top of that, you know what I'm saying, you have to, regardless if it's a commission shop or if it's a booth rent shop, you still have to do that regardless. If it's a commission base, you still have to get supplies.
Or
if it's a booth rent,
you should still have
well,
to do
yeah,
that.
because at the shop we work at, like the owner doesn't work there. He just owns the shop.
Right.
We all take it in our like, hey, we're low on paper towels. Hey, I'm running to the store real quick. I'm gonna get some paper towels. What else we need? And then the next week, someone else will do it. And then, you know, like we run it like that because even though it's not my shop per se, I'm not renting out that spot. I'm in this shop, and everything in this shop, my clients benefit from. So I feel that I have to, I have to do. When it comes sweeping, you know, we got to sweep I sweep everybody's station. You know, we have a cleaning lady come, and 1 week, one of the guys pays her, 1 week I pay her, you know, so that's just the shop we're at. And I think that has a lot to do more with the camaraderie we've built, the amount of time we've been together.
That's good camaraderie. I
get it.
So Shop, with your shop, do you provide the supplies?
Certain toiletries, common area space, yes. Personal things, absolutely not. No.
Right. No.
If
like paper towels,
that's
and
common area, yeah, I provide those things. Even to the point where paper towels, shampoo, conditioner, color if you need it, bleach powder. I provide those things because those are common area things. We all use them. But if you want a specific kind of holding spray, you know, that's something that you would get for yourself. And I think in most commission-based shops, it's like that too. They provide common space things, but if you have specifications of what you want, you go and get those specific things for yourself, or they may give you the option that they can get a collective together on a meeting day or something, and if more people are interested in a certain brand, they'll carry that brand versus what the owner of the business feel is the most affordable brand. They may shell out a little bit more money to get a better brand that more people are wanting to use, but you can do that when you're in a commission-based shop, because the shop is affording you the ability to again, this is investing back into the barbers versus a booth rental shop. And I like what Tank was saying. I think a lot of barbers go the booth rent route because they don't want the responsibility of being commission-based shop owners, because as a commission-based shop, like Cruz was saying, when you fail, the entire shop fails. It's not you a bad owner, but we still eating within a bad environment. It's you a bad owner, and because you're a bad owner, nobody's eating in the environment. Because if you're not promoting, you're not on top of getting asses in these seats, the barbers don't eat. The barbers don't eat. You don't eat. You don't eat. The business don't.
Absolutely. It's more as it's more to running the shop.
Or would
it's
you
more to running the shop. Go ahead.
On booth rent?
Is that go ahead, repeat the question?
I was asking. So just knowing everybody else, have you ever or would you ever cut outside of booth rent? Like, would you cut or have you cut on commission?
Me, no. I've done strictly booth rent. The way that my owner set us up, which is the way I would set it up if I owned a shop, and the way I feel it's a good way to build a barber is my first week in the shop, I started on a Friday. My first week was free. So all that Friday and Saturday money was pocketed. Next week, I think I paid $20 for the week, and then once he seen me building clientele, he started going up until we reached, the cap. And then even once we reached the cap, man, like I felt like he had gave me such a great platform and he built me up. I paid more than what I was asked to pay because I felt that's what he deserved for doing that for me, for taking that chance on me,
Right. So somebody kind of set me up that saying when I tell you every time I talk to you, bro, I find a similar. It's insane. It's insane. Somebody set me up that exact same way, bro.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Ash, where I am in my career now, no, because it's I feel that I have more to offer in helping provide a soft landing for people than I do cutting in a commission-based shop, trying to absorb or build my career. I don't, not to be braggadocious at all. Anybody that knows me know I'm not a braggadocious person at all. I'm not in a position where I really have to do too much to build my clientele anymore. My clientele is to the point where I'm telling more people no than I'm telling people I can cut their hair. But if I want to go back 2 years ago, where I was kind of a year removed from school, but not quite where I am, yeah, I was going to a commission-based shop because I know it's a lot of the thought work that we embody as barbers, like Cruz was saying earlier. A lot of the responsibility financially and delegating your own finances when you're an independent contractor, you don't have those stresses as a booth renter. Because at the booth renter, you probably got a 401k, you probably got somebody how and where to invest your money. And then when you're getting your money, you're getting the check. So all you got to do is file your tax.
Repeat that question.
You breaking up.
You chopping in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So you think that most barbershops, like even in urban areas that would do commission, would provide like 401ks and I know that
you're breaking up again.
But they would, they didn't provide those other things. They just did commission.
Well, you got to understand how they're building and structuring those businesses. In a lot of places, it's illegal to own a commission-based shop, and you don't furnish certain. You have to furnish certain things. Some form of whenever you have somebody under your business infrastructure and they are labeled an employee, you have to furnish certain things, taxes, you have to furnish insurance. Those things have to be furnished. You don't have to.
The insurance was based on the number of employees.
It's based on a number of employees, but I'm sure that number is set to a specific. You have to have this many employees to even be considered a commission-based shop.
Right.
Plus, it really doesn't make sense to open a commission-based shop that has anything less than maybe 8 chairs.
So for me, the one I'm thinking about, and it was an old school, they didn't have 8 chairs. It was about 4 or 5 barbers, and they always did commission. And of course, you got a lot of places who they're gonna do with what they want. You know?
That's what we call shucking and jiving.
I've only seen commission based really that chain shops that do the commission 401ks and
So I've seen shops that they're not big chains, they're just smaller shops that do commission, but they are bigger shops. Like they have about, at least, like you said, 8 chairs or so. And I think I know that there are ways around saying that you're a barbershop getting commission.
Don't say it, bro.
We gotta be real, man. We gotta be real with the people. There is ways around it, man. Like there's always ways around it. Not saying you should do it or that it's legal, but when it comes to business, man, people sometimes they just do what they got to do to make sure their pockets is right. So there is a way to structure it around it. Not saying that's right. So I'm not exactly sure how what needs to be furnished and what labels you a business to run commission, but I have seen shops do that, and they're just a standalone shop. They don't have 2 or 3 shops. They just have one. So I mean, I don't know what the business plan is, or maybe they do have plans for a different shop later on, but I know that I have seen it.
I mean, with the commission shop, it does open up the books a little bit more when it comes down to getting loans, because you got more people, and you sit in there. The stream of income that is coming in through one bank. You know what I'm saying? Whatever bank they got that set in, they see that money. So that opens up the books for them to get higher, higher loans, 250K, 500K, 750K, So when they see that, that's the good side of commission, especially if you own multiple shops and all your shops is commission shops. It does give you more leverage. It does give you more capital. It does show better on your taxes. But then it comes more with that. You got to pay more with taxes. You got to pay more, with the different locations that you guys own. So it does, with the booth rent, you could split that up. You could have 50 shops and it be all booth rent and still manage. But the thing is though, is based off the barber who's trying to advance his career. You don't have to sit there and wait on the next man to give you a 401k, because you could go to a financial advisor and do that yourself.
Yep.
You could sit then you go online. They got so much online classes. They'll teach you how to sit there and day trade. They teach you how to buy crypto. But you go to a financial advisor, JP Morgan, you start off with a 5K portfolio and invest X amount of dollars every single month. Guess what? In 15, 20 years, that money's going to double, because now you giving your money to a person that is not buying crypto. They actually buying real stocks.
Right.
Real stocks. They are trained to do that.
The point that you're bringing up is why I feel like both have to exist. Both have to exist. It completely depends on the goals of the barber. We taking the own out of just talking in the sense of a barber working in those 2 infrastructures. It depends on what your goals are, because if you, and I think both have to exist, because let's be honest, majority of the barbers that's in here right now listening to this podcast, majority of them aren't going to go and check into JP Morgan. They're not going to go and look at options for health insurance. They're not going to go and look at what it costs to have a 401k. They're not putting no money away. Most barbers, if you go in a room full of barbers and ask them how many people got $10,000 in their bank account, raise their hand. Most of them raise their hand. They won't raise their hand. And it's not because they're not making enough to have that kind of money in their bank accounts. It's because
people don't have that either, though, Shaq.
But we're not talking about them. We're talking about barbers specifically. And I think barbers work in a way, right? What we do, if someone taught you financial literacy, there is no reason any barber that's professional with a license that cut hair at least 5 days a week there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have $10,000 in your bank account.
Facts.
But I think that's on every level, and I think financial literacy is lacking everywhere. I was watching something, and they said that research showed that the average person doesn't have $500 in their bank account on average, right? If you think when we were at the CT Expo and we were the education when Andy Authentic and the original Barbadol were talking, and he asked a show of hands how many people had insurance, and most didn't. I think that in and of itself, I do think, you know, when you talk about 401ks and the insurance part, and most people who have 401ks who work for people really don't understand how it functions.
How it works,
that they have money that, you know, is going in, and they might be matching dollar for dollar or whatever. And so it goes back to what you were talking about last time. And I think you made a great point, Shai, about creating a standard within, you know, the industry, because we had so many people that were at that CT Expo, and then you got that big room, and he says, okay, how many of you have life insurance? Give me a raise of hands. And his response was, out of all these people, less than 10% of the people in here raise their hand. So I think also an industry problem that, you know, like Miami Barber was saying, we could talk about a million things, but putting action behind it, because that has always been an ongoing issue in the barber community. You know what I'm saying? Those things we need to bring more light to those within our industry.
So let me give y'all a hack, man. Like, it's funny that my barber school actually taught this. There's a couple of people in Houston that went to different barber schools, and their barber school taught them this also. And it's not saying that this is to combat what, you know, that we need to learn more about financial literacy, insurance, and everything, but find you a partner who has what you lack. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, man, like, if it's something like, because I'm going to provide this, you know, X amount of whatever, you know what I'm saying? But if they can provide what we can't, you know what I'm saying, then it's good. Because a lot of people, like, you know, marriage is weird, man. Like, honestly, it is. Like, there's a lot of different things that go into marriage: love, loyalty, all this good stuff. But what I think people forget to acknowledge is marriage is it's a partnership, right? It's a partnership. So when you want a partner in anything, when you playing 2-on-2 on the court, and you know you're an outside shooter, but you can't get no rebounds, who you gonna pick? The person that can get rebounds.
Absolutely.
So if you know we can bring all these dollars into the household, but I don't have the insurance, or I can't get that, or I can get it, but we're gonna have to come out of pocket more. But this person can do that, then maybe that's something people should look into. I'm not saying like, oh, only go look for people who have insurance. I'm not saying that at all, but it helps when you find that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps out a lot, because, you know, that's one less thing you really have to worry about. You know,
it's just like me. I got life insurance. I got health insurance. You know, I got my portfolio that I started. You know, I got my little money that I invested in crypto. You know what I mean? I did that myself because I know where I want to be, and I know from and this is why, you know, off the subject, but this is why I date older women. I don't date young girls because they don't teach me nothing. Don't got nothing to offer. You know what I'm saying? Older women, or, you know what I'm saying, women of age, or that's around my age, you know, they teach. They, you know, you learn from them. You know what I'm saying? And this is the old head, my ex, she taught me, you know, life insurance policy.
He said his ex.
You know what I'm saying?
Like second, third remove, huh?
Right, yeah. So, you know, she taught me to sit there and get a life insurance.
No doubt.
And she was just like, you get two different ones. You get whole, you get term.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you get whole, you know what I'm saying, that works out on your benefit, you know, because that's everlasting. You know what I'm saying? The term life insurance, you could sit there and cash out on the policy and have either 15, 20-year term. You could cash that policy out, or you could put it back in and double it. You know what I mean? So it has a lot of perks, and there's no limit to how many life insurance policies you can get on yourself.
Yeah.
You could have multiple life insurance policies.
Just
And
got to be able to.
So
once you sit there and you get that established, man, and listen, every barber needs to sit there and just tune in on this live. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to everybody on here. Shouts out to everybody who's paying attention, everybody who's commenting. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out for y'all having me on. You know what I'm saying? It was you know what I'm saying, it's an honor and a pleasure. You know what I'm saying, being on here, because this is a wonderful discussion. That's how I was like, yo, I gotta jump on. You know, a lot of these barbers, they need to sit there and they need to educate themselves. You know, like you like homie said earlier, you know, find somebody that you could learn from, that you lacking. Be around with people that's gonna lift you up and bring you positive into your life. Yeah. Stop hanging around a bunch of nobodies. We are not in high school no more.
You know what, man? I've noticed too, man, like going back to a little bit what we're talking about, all this financial literacy, insurance and all this. You know, I think maybe because I don't know how old everyone is in the room, but I'm 35. Maybe because I'm a little older now, I can go back and see what I could have done better. And the younger barbers may not see it this way, but when they think of financial literacy, being financially stable, you know, having insurance, having these bank accounts to pay bills, this for this for that, whatever, that's not fun to them. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hear that. A lot of the young barbers, they want to know is, how do I get 1 million followers on YouTube or on Instagram? How do I put out a blurry fade? How do I use these enhancements? Which I get it that, you know, there's a time and a place, but I think the whole finances, I think that should be taught in school also, like in barber school. Like the last 100 hours, 200 hours, whatever.
But it's up to us to introduce that to them. Yeah. To build them, because if we don't, then they're gonna fall back behind time, because this is an industry where you could get comfortable. Well, I was talking about it earlier. Don't get comfortable.
Facts.
And that's also what happens. That's what happens whenever you work inside of a shop that is only booth frame, because you're gonna make all that money, and then if you don't know what you're doing with it, bro, and you're not saving for the future, and you're not saving for a rainy day, or you ain't putting this over there, or making this work, or making this double, or doing that, then why you doing it for?
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? This is what we got to sit there and teach them. You know what I'm saying? We got to implement this.
So for me, and I agree with you 1,000%. So Tank, you're 36.
35. Don't put that extra year on me.
I'm 40.
I'm 38.
I'm 46. So
36. Hey, don't make that extra year sound like it's so bad.
My life started to financially when I started to put myself in different circles. Yeah. They say if you around 9 broke people, you bound to be the 10th one. You are the
10th one.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you're gonna find the 11th one and then join y'all.
No doubt. So you're 1,000% right. Changing your circle, but also we've created a platform, Shy, that I think we can do our part to push that, because this needs to be a conversation. Like when we went to CT, you know, all of us on here have been cutting hair for a number of years, and I think there's a time and place, and there could be different classes. But within the industry, this has to and needs to be a topic that comes up often in trade shows and barber expos, because we could talk about getting to the bag, but the same thing is happening generation after generation after generation. This is the golden era in terms of there's never been an era that has charged $100, $200, $500 for a haircut. But you still got people who don't have life insurance, health insurance, don't own homes, you know, don't have a portfolio, not diversifying anything in terms of finances, don't even have financial stability, but run through a bunch of money. This has to be something that we push and it push the envelope and make it something, and even get with people who are having these shows to talk about some of that, because that would have been something that would have been beautiful to see had somebody on the financial side came in and also gave some teaching, because it's needed. So, I'm walking down there and I'm seeing Jay, you know, buying Rolls Royces and Maseratis, big chains, and Dapper Dan. Man, you to the bag. How do we get to this bag?
So I think what the thing about that is, man, is, you know, this is a business, right? Like everyone's in this, it's a business. And I think the thing about putting that type of class in an event like that is it's going to kill the room.
But
and
every
not to say,
have to go though, Tank. If you separate, because you do have some OGs in there, you have some young guys like you talk about. I want 1 million followers.
Yeah.
I want to, but you have some of us too that would have had some interest in that.
And so I'm glad that
it does kind of. Okay, so like Tank said earlier, when you're in your 20s and nowadays barbers coming into the barbering industry even younger than that, when you're a teenager and you're in your 20s or your mid 20s, a lot of times this is the first time a lot of guys have made this type of money first. So
no doubt,
with being introduced to this new afforded ability to make this kind of money, a lot of guys are living in short-term realities. So I feel like because I can make $2,000 a day, I can blow $2,000 a day. And you got people who have that same mindset outside of the barbershop, working at restaurants or working at shoe stores, because they'll get their checks and they'll pay some bills and spend the whole rest of the check.
Just have a little bit just to get on by.
Even hustle.
I think what Tank is saying, and we're going to definitely let him explain what he's saying, but I agree with him. It's difficult to push that narrative in these barber shows because the people who are who come into these barber shows aren't coming to digest any useful information, unfortunately. They're coming for spectacle. They're coming to meet people. They're coming to be seen. They coming for all these other diverse reasons. But there's a very, very small majority of them that's coming to digest anything useful that they can take back and implement financial wise.
But with that being said, you guys don't think, based on the number of people that were there, that if they had a separate, a couple separate classes dealing with financial literacy, that it couldn't have filled up a room? Maybe not the same room.
No, and just to add on to that, because I went there personally. This is my first year going to the CT Barber Expo. And when I went to I went to 2 educational classes because other ones that I seen, they already was talking about things that I already knew.
Right.
So I wanted to catch something that I didn't know. So there was 2 classes that I attend, and there was a lot of barbers in attendance, bro. So it's just a matter of implementing and structuring a way and finding out the best the best plan that could effectively bring all of those barbers together and have an absolute blowout. Because if you don't have that plan structured, you don't have that plan well executed, and guess what? It's gonna flop. Like, you know, like Tank said, you know what I'm saying? They not trying, but also it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So who's to say that it can't happen because it didn't happen?
We would have.
So there is a possibility.
Yeah, so I think a good way to do this is, I don't know if y'all paid attention while y'all was at the expo, but if y'all noticed, when y'all walk down that long hallway, one of the first rooms is for S&P, and that was his own class, right? So if they would do something similar to that, all right, like if you want to go to the expo, cool, but this class is for, you know, we're teaching you how to, you know, save money, how to structure your bank accounts, whatever, but it may be a different fee. It may be an extra $30, $35, whatever, for those who are interested. I think that's a good way to see, for them to try it out, you know, put the training wheels on first to see, all right, do we have a lot of people going? And if not, it don't matter, because, you know, we have 40 people in there, you know, this educator is going to make their money, you know, so it's good. And another thing that I wanted to say is, I know most of y'all know Chris Basio. When he came to Houston a while back, and, you know, he brought the whole 245 with him, and they did like a haircutting class, enhancements, shears, all that shit. But then, excuse my language, but then Basio did a class on like how to file taxes, how to get the most bang for your buck, how to, you know, create an LLC, S corp, all this stuff that when I heard him, I was like, okay, like, yeah, like what we talking about? Like I'm interested in, I want to learn, you know. And most people in the room weren't, not saying all of them, but some of them really weren't paying attention to what was going on, because it's not fun. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of just like, okay, like, yeah, but it goes over a lot of people's head because they don't understand the simple basis, the basics of financial literacy, the basics of understanding your finances, right? So it goes over everyone's head. And then we're talking about it. I don't know if it was that day or later on. Chris Basile said that he don't think he'll ever do another class on cutting hair. He's like, because I don't want to teach that. He goes, there's 100 different great. I think it was on this show, as a matter of fact, that he said that there's a bunch of people teaching you how to cut hair, but there's not a bunch of people.
Hey, but ain't nobody teaching you what to do with the money that you get for the.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that's my thing, because you know, on the back end, you know, bought my first home, me and my wife, I was 37, right? And has struggled with credit and those things, didn't even know the importance. You know, I got guys who are in banking, guys in real estate, and when I start rubbing elbows with those guys, I start to look at life different. Mm-hmm. You know, now my goal is in another year or two to start, you know, purchasing some rental properties and start doing some other things, right? But when I was just hanging with my guys I used to hoop with, my mind wasn't rolling like that. But I'm watching guys get money. So like when I see Jay Majors and him doing the things that he's doing, bought a 25,000 square foot building, getting ready to turn it out into the salon suites, you know, he's elevating. So we're coming in, we're dropping all that bread on him that, you know, he like I said, Rolls Royces, cars, businesses. That's where I want to elevate to. That's what I'm reaching for. So I know there were at least enough people out of all the people that were there, because it was thousands of people. I've never seen anything like it.
But
that's on the barbering.
I agree with you, and I'm not saying that it wasn't people there who wouldn't have been investing in those kind of classes. Here's what I think it is, and this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. The reason, even a Chris Basile, because I respect a lot of what Chris does. I respect what he's built from where he's built it. Like I'm sure both of you gentlemen watch them YouTube channels and them YouTube videos from when he was building all of that. Right. To see where he is now is extraordinary, and there's a lot of barbers like that.
Right.
But even with Basile, the reason I believe it's difficult to get finances across at a barber expo or in a room full of barbers, a room full of people who touch a lot of money in this industry, because no one's created a way to convey the information where it's sexy, where it look nice, where it's cool.
Well, these we don't right, and I agree with you, but it might be somebody out there who does. It's worth a shot. That's all I'm saying.
Industry though, because if it was somebody in this industry doing it, you'd have heard about it.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about in this industry, because I think you need a professional.
You know what, too? I think what it is I'm going to cut y'all off. I think what it is, it's a lot of the, like you said earlier, when you were with your homies hooping, you weren't really listening to the people who were doing the investments. And I think what it is just that mind frame at the time. Like when I was 20 years old, 19 years old, and the older guys in the shop were telling me about investing my money, you know, get rental properties. I'm like, man, these dudes don't know what they're talking about. They old, man. Like they live in that old school American dream. Like that's not what I want to do. But now that I'm older, it's like that was lacing me up. I wasn't listening. Right. You know, and it's hard because we have new barbers coming in now that I'm trying to give them the game that I was given, but they have that same mind frame that I had when I was 19, 20 years old. Like they're saying in their head, man, Tank don't know, man. He's already getting up there. Yeah. And it's like, I get it. And
it's because it don't sound relatable coming from us. Because we can tell you this is the best way to do a fade, and people will stop and listen detail for detail because you've shown it for so long. Yeah. Right? Yeah. They've observed you do that. They watch clients come in and request that from you specifically, right? In a room full of people, they come straight to you. So that creates credibility for what you're saying.
Yeah.
Versus even if you showed a bunch of people your house, your car, and I know you enough to know that you don't think that way, because where we come from and the era we grew up in, that's called high signing.
Right.
I don't tell you too much of what I got because my personal business ain't your business, right? But if there was a way to make the message of financial literacy sound as good as a Pooh Shiesty lyric or a Lil Durk song, and present that information in a way that's easy to digest, because a lot of people don't pay attention to financial literacy because the information is difficult to digest. No one's ever used these terms with them. No one's ever explained. It's hard to talk to me about 401k, how to invest my money if I don't even know what an investment is.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what a 401k is. And in order to understand what you're telling me, I need to go and do this other back research of all the information that I didn't get, just so I can get caught up enough to even listen to your conversation.
But I think, and what I'm saying is at its most basic, one-on-one, the things that we're hurting, retirement and insurances. I've seen a big name barber within the last year and a half out in Arizona. You know, it made the news and everything, man. Road rage, man. He gets shot. He got kids. Now they got to go from him. But he one of the biggest barbers in Arizona at the time. Yeah. And just a freak accident. I'm saying at its most basic, because you're right, because a lot of those terms, a lot of that shit still goes over my head, right?
Right.
I'm thirsting for it. But just at the basics to gain stability, because it's almost next to sin that we never thought in this industry that anybody would cut hair and get $100.
So have y'all ever heard of the Health and Wealth Summit?
Yep. Yeah. I know Jay Majors was doing.
So he does try to give that knowledge, but he packages it as one thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what he's doing for the industry, appreciate what he's doing for the culture. And I feel that he is trying, but it's just hard, man. Like, a lot of people don't want to learn that for whatever reason, man. I mean, I get it. Like you said, a bunch of these terms go over my head, bro. Like, people start, like, when I got the house, people were talking about, oh, do you pay, you know, mortgage insurance? Do you have this? Are you homestead, all this? And I was like, bro, I don't fucking know. Like, I just know I bought a house and this is what I pay a month, bro. I don't fucking know.
You have equity and
yeah. So now that I look more into it, I'm realizing I'm learning a little bit. I have realtors who are clients who put me on game, who've already told me, like, you know, like for me, for instance, like telling me to do what's it called, an equity cash out.
Right.
You know, they're giving me that. Well, they're not telling me to do it, but they're telling me what the details of it are. That way, if I do want to do it, I know how to go about it, and I know what I'm gonna have to pay for that loan. So they're giving me game, and now that I'm older, you know, maybe I feel like, you know, when you're younger, you feel like you can live forever. Right. I'm like, man, I worry about that shit, you know, in my 30s or in my 40s, and now in my 30s, I'm like, all right, it's kind of time to start thinking about, you know, I ain't gonna live forever anymore. Right. Like, let's try to figure this out. And I think that's most barbers, bro, because y'all know how the culture is of barbering. You know, flashy shoes, jewelry, nice cars, you know, hip hop music, going out to the club. You know, that's just the culture. I don't know why it's been that way, but that's just how barbers are presented to the world, right? So,
in all reality, most barbers come from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We grew up in the neighborhood, and, you know, we either we've been involved in street life, or as barbers, we've been so close to it that it's just, you know, I mean, just like ball players and rappers, and it's all kind of bottled up. You know what I'm saying? And like Shy said, it's sexy. We had an old podcast, and Shy, we're gonna have to bring my man's back on here. He's a State Farm agent. His name is Joe Stovall, and you know, he's an old head man, well versed. Just to be able to break down, you know, difference, you know, term insurance between whole life and what you can do with whole life, in you know, in regards to how people have built wealth with life insurance. You know what I'm saying? But I just had this part of me that just wants to educate, because you watching people get money. It's just like being in the game. You in the streets and you done got money, and then you look all them years later, say, man, if I'd have saved some of that money, I'd be in a whole different place. Now that I done been on that side, and even with the haircut side, like, man, I done jagged off a lot of bread. And you know what
you know what though, man? Like, it's funny because I'm at that place in life, man. Like, you know, I'm getting older, but I still feel young. You know, like I'm in that mid-range area. And I get the wanting to spend money, you know, like I get the I want my wife and kids to have the nicer things. I want to have a chain on. You know, I get it. You know, it's a sense of accomplishment. You know, and I think people think of it the wrong way. They always think like, oh, he's just blowing money. But I think for me, like when I buy my girl something or buy my kids something and they look nice, they're a reflection of me. Like, you know, my son's got on nice shoes, always has a nice haircut. My wife has, you know, red bottoms or whatever. Like it looks good. And so it's letting people know that I'm handling the business. But at the same time, I want to make sure to let people know that I'm not just blowing money.
Right.
Like I am putting money away.
Right.
I do have a plan to where, you know, people don't know this, but me and my wife are actually, hopefully within this next year, I'm probably going to purchase another house. So I'm making the right strides, but at the same time, I'm still living young, but I'm in the middle. I'm living young, but I'm thinking ahead also. And if you structure your business properly, if you learn how to leverage yourself as a barber, if you learn how to market yourself properly, and if you learn how to, you know, make as much as you can do both. You're just still gonna have a budget on certain things. And there's like I've never down talked to anybody, bro, who wanted to go out and buy like a brand new car or whatever they wanted to do. Like some people do, like they're big on don't save all your money. But the way I see it is like it's good to save money, but at the same time, I'm not working so hard to just save my money. Like who knows, you know, God forbid I go outside tomorrow and I get hit by a car and I'm done. And, you know, like I don't want to say I didn't have no fun, but if I just so you know, I think that's what it is, man. There's not a happy medium within the generations. You know, like you have people who just tell you how to save money and get wealthy and how to invest, and then you have the people who just blow it. I think if we market it somehow to where it's like, okay, you can go out and buy this or do that and do this, but you have to put a cap on this money over here, and you have to structure the way you're putting your money into the bank. You have to structure, you know, 50 or 60%, whatever the number is for you, to this account to where you don't see it, you don't touch it, and use that for a goal, for an investment or something. You know, the one thing I just want to give a little bit of advice to people who are trying to build credit or trying to buy something or, you know, trying to get a loan for something is a lot of people don't do this. They want to spread out their money through different accounts, and that's fine. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But first, what I've learned is the best thing to do is put it all in one account first and then distribute it. That way, if you do happen to need to get a loan or whatever the situation is, you can show that you have this income just from this one account. Here's this account, you know, here's my LLC or whatever. I'm making X amount of money a year. And then you disperse it through savings, the bills, my play money, the kids and wife's allowance or whatever, but you show that you have all your money coming into this one account. That way you have the highest amount of income that you can get. That way you can leverage loans, you know, and stuff like that.
Right. No doubt. Yeah.
And like you said, I think both worlds can exist. It just takes some understanding of self, understanding of what your goals are, and better preparation and educating yourself. You got to be like I said, you got to be thirsty for the information, because if you don't have any desire to be informed, you're gonna continue to lead your life the way you've been leading it, and you're gonna look up, and when you in your 30s or you in your 40s, you're gonna see how much opportunity you wasted because you weren't willing to absorb the information. But we only got about 3 minutes left on the podcast. And one thing make sure that I do is thank everybody who joined us tonight. Tank, we appreciate you so much. Cutflow Dre, we appreciate you, bro. Cruz, we appreciate you, bro. Cruz LLC. What I want everybody that's on here now, though, because I'm seeing a whole lot of names that I never saw before. And we're going to get to you, Trey Leroy. Trey Leroy! Go nowhere. We're going to get to you. Right. Through. We ain't gonna leave you abandoned, my brother. You're not on that island by yourself. We're gonna talk at you. But for all these new people that I see jump on that I've never seen before, welcome to the I Cut My Way Out podcast. We are live every Wednesday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. If you are not, you wasting your time. You need to go up here, hit that little arrow, click down, follow the I Cut My Way Out podcast, and hit the post and bell notification so that you can be informed and notified every time we do go live. This is a platform brought to you to make sure that it's for you. If you have a story, you have something you want to talk about, you are a budding barber in this industry, a budding beautician in the industry, or you just love the love of the game, you just love watching people cut hair, you one of them people that get on YouTube and watch videos for 10 hours of people cutting hair, and you want to talk about it because you feel that connected to the industry, go and hit the I Cut My Way Out podcast inbox and let us know that you are ready to tell your story. This platform is for you. It's not just brought here for you to view and consume. It's for you to be a part of it, because if you grow, we grow. If we grow, you gotta grow.
Absolutely.
The last few minutes, we had Trey Leroy. Okay, Leroy.
Leroy.
Is there any advice you can give to push through it? I will definitely want to ask you, Trey. Is there any way you can be a little bit more specific? Push through what? Are you?
I got an answer for that. If any advice to push through it, come to my class at Fort Worth Barber Supply. No. Plug it in.
Like
one time for the one time, man. If y'all don't know, I am giving a class on content creation, how to make content make your life better. Whether it's trying to get clientele, whether you're trying to get sponsorships from different companies, whether you're just trying to grow your social media presence, whether you want to be an influencer, I'm giving a class June 25th at Fort Worth Barber Supply. I got tickets on my website, tankbechopping.com. Give me a follow, shoot me a DM. I'll send you the link personally. And I do want to say this real quick. I know, we've been on here for a minute, but this class is going to be slightly different because I've been to these classes and I've heard a lot of these classes of social media. And the difference is I'm trying to take everything that I've learned, and I don't want to just reword their information. I'm taking everything I've learned and I've applied it, and I want to give everything that I've done that works, and when it comes to, because I use social media for so many different things, I used it to grow my clientele when I first started doing social media. After a while, then I used it to get free stuff from clipper companies. Then I used social media to get sponsorships, to get paid from these different companies. So I got a lot of knowledge, man. I'm going to be talking about that June 25th, Fort Worth Barber Supply, man. Y'all hit me up, come through. And yeah, man, I didn't want to take too much of your time, but I want to make sure I plug that in.
Good. I want to make sure people understand they heard what he said. On the 25th, Tank is going to give you all the meat, and he's already discarded the bone. He going to give you all the meat, and he done already discarded. Listen, if you ain't
what you say? Bars.
Listen, he's applied the information, so he's going to tell you what works, and he's going to tell you why it worked, because I know Tank don't half-ass nothing. He coming with it. So if you are interested in growing within the social media platform and barbering as a whole in general, if you want to know how to apply modern day philosophies on how to grow within this industry, that's probably one of the best guys to do it. Because Tank, you've grown probably 10,000 followers since the last time I seen you, and we talking about a span of weeks.
Yeah.
So if you want the information, he giving you the game. Look, you do what you want to do with your time, but he giving you the information.
What your boy say? It's only medicine if you take it.
It's only medicine if you take it. It's only medicine if you take it. So get back to Leroy.
Leroy, you warmed up.
If that's one solution, is you can go to Dallas, okay? Get on that plane, you go to Dallas. You get you some information, some hands one-on-one. You can shake the hand with the man that's going to give you the plan. Another thing I would tell you, Leroy, I love that name, Leroy. I'm going to talk at you, Leroy. Another thing you can do, man, is rather what you're trying to push through is financial, mental, physical, or emotional. This going to sound preachy, Leroy, but just roll with me on this, Leroy, because it's the truth. I know a lot of you young cats, see that name is old, but I feel like you a young cat, so I'm gonna call you a young Thundercat. A lot of you young Thundercats, y'all don't like to take information from guys who got a beard, but I'm gonna tell you, Leroy, what I'm finna tell you is probably the most useful, impactful information anybody is ever gonna give you in your life. No matter what you're doing, no matter what your transitions and your pivots are, keep God first. Keep God first.
Amen.
Shit can get heavy, Leroy. Things can be dire, they can get bleak, they can be dark, and they can make you feel like you are drowning in your life. But as long as you keep God first and you believe that, it may sound corny to your friends. It may sound corny to you. But what's real cannot be explained, and you shouldn't give a fuck how nobody feel about you.
Absolutely.
You need to do for your life. You keep God first, Leroy. And you keep a presence of mind that he did not bring you this far to abandon you now. He's not opening these doors that weren't intent for you to walk through them.
Pastor Shy.
You can keep moving forward, because everything that you're dealing with that's bad, guess what? You're going to get picked again to wake up and try tomorrow. You're going to get another chance. It's a lot of people, their lessons was their last day. They don't have no more lessons. That was it. The lesson was them not being here no more. Their lesson was intended for you to learn.
Yeah.
So leave it here, and you still got an opportunity. Pick your feet up and get your ass moving. Get to work. Stop bitching and get to work.
Hey, you know, I once heard was, I didn't make it this far just to make it this far. You know what I'm saying? So keep grinding, man. Keep doing you. Keep learning. Be an open book that needs to be filled with words. When people talk to you, listen to listen, not to respond. A lot of people listen to respond. Listen to soak in the information, and like they were saying, take everyone else's experiences and try to use that to better yourself in whatever you're doing in life. Absolutely.
Like you said, keep God first, man. Keep pushing through it. No pain, no gain is you know, old school as that may sound, man. Just keep pushing forward. God's got you, man. Jump out there and get after it, man. You never know what you can obtain if you don't go chase it, man. So be the best version of you. Keep God in your prayers and keep pushing, man. You'll be all right. And whatever.
Easier. It get easier, Leroy. I promise you, bro. If you trash at your face right now, your blend's probably choppy than a motherfucker right now. But let me tell you something. Mine was too, my boy. Tank was too. Osh was too. Every barber you ever met in your life has went through that transitional period. Nobody comes into this and they just blazing shit out the bag. It didn't happen like that. No, and if they tell you that, they lying to you, Leroy. Don't let nobody lie to you, not to your face. You tell them, lie in my inbox. Don't lie to my face. Okay? But for real, on some real shit, Leroy, get up every day and be grateful for the opportunity, one, that you were able to wake up, right? Amen. Be grateful that you was able to get up. Be grateful that you have another opportunity to go out and try a little harder than you did yesterday. If you just keep doing that on a daily basis, and the best advice I can give you in the barbering industry is do your best to make your first haircut and your last haircut look the same. You do that, you pursuing everything in the middle. It's going to be all right. Keep doing that every day, and over time, you will get better. The things that you struggle with, progress will happen. It'll happen. It takes time. Microwave success don't exist. It don't exist. It takes time. But really want to know, Leroy, come here, get close to the camera, Leroy. Get close. You got to take your ass to Texas and go to tank class, Leroy.
Let's go.
You got to go to the class, Leroy. Leroy, you better be on here listening, man. Hey, we've been I Cut My Way Out podcast. If you don't know us in real life. So if you don't know who Tank Be Chopping is, you need to go and follow Tank Be Chopping. You can also hit that little arrow up there, and his name will pop down too. If you're not following I Cut My Way Out podcast, you wasting your time with your life, because we putting out bangers every week, every Wednesday, 7:30 Central Standard Time. We've been us, you've been you. Y'all fellas got anything to say? Because I'm finna run out the door. What y'all got?
We appreciate everybody. Tank, we appreciate you coming on as always, man. Love to everybody who jumped on. Follow us. We'll be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Standard Time. Cut My Way Out.
Y'all have a good one. Peace.